Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range. Now this is the long-awaited 7th episode in the Swiss Straight Pull Rifle series. Now unfortunately it's a unicorn episode, so I don't have the model 1905 Cavalry Carbine in question that we're going to talk about today. But what I do have is what it replaced, the model 1893 Mannlicher Cavalry Carbine. I have something identical to what it was turned into, and we'll get onto that in a moment. And I've got some photos, so we're going to rely on them. Now, if you cast your minds back a few episodes to the 1903 Cavalry Carbine, I mentioned that right from the start it was not well liked. From the troops' perspective, it wasn't particularly accurate, it was fiddly. Taking the bolt apart and getting it back together was rather more difficult than the Schmidt Rubin style actions, and for the armourers, comparatively, it was a complete nightmare. So not only do we have stories of people turning up with the bolt in bits in a handkerchief to training, but we have an unacceptable number or proportion of the rifles being sent up the logistics chain back to depots or even back to the factory. Essentially, certain things that could be fixed in the field by an armourer, a Waffenmech, on an 1889/96 action or an 1889 action, needed the attention of someone with much greater degree of gunsmithing skills, or even the factory. Now, this was considered a bit of a pain, and it all sort of came to a head finally. And they said, okay, stuff it. We're going to take the 1900 short rifle, see the previous episode, and make a cavalry carbine on the basis of that. And in 1904, they did a series of trials with 10 different rifles made on that basis, and they finally sorted out what they wanted. Now, basically, in short, they took a 1893 Cavalry Carbine front end, more or less. So from here forward, it's all the same front band, same sighting arrangement with a flip up and quadrant arrangement, and they dumped a model 1900 action in it, which is essentially a model 89/96 infantry rifle action, but fitted for a belted 6-round detachable magazine. That's more or less it. The only other thing they did to improve the handling is they put a semi-pistol grip stock on. And this is where the Swiss style of semi-pistol grip first appears, and this would then carry on through all the others. Now, even though it wasn't officially declared ordnance until March 1907, there were in fact 7,900 of them produced between 1906 and 1911, the vast majority of which being produced in 1907 and 1908. Now, given that there were about 6,500 cavalrymen, it seems that they were re-equipped en masse with the new carbines, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, with the infantry, there was a mixture between 89s and 89/96s. The differences are not massive. It's only sort of if something big needs fixing, that there's a difference, like the locking sleeves and things like that. But these are totally different actions compared to the 93 Mannlicher, so that makes a lot of sense. Now, there were also all of 39 private rifles produced, but you can see why there wasn't a massive private demand for them, because they're frankly no use for serious 300-meter target shooting. So I can understand why there weren't many. It surprises me that there were in fact as many as 39 of them produced. Now, the reason why they're unicorns is that the overwhelming majority were converted into K05/11s between 1913 and 1920, the vast majority of them between 1914 and 1916. And these are absolutely identical to this model 00/11, which was converted from a 1900 short rifle. The only way you can tell the difference is the serial number. Now, the 1905 carbines and the 1900 short rifles had serial number ranges starting at 1. So what they did was there were about 18,000, if I remember rightly, model 1900 short rifles, and these were left unre-serial numbered. What they then did with the cavalry ones was they added a 2 and the right number of zeros so that they fall in the 20,000 serial number range. So if you come across something that looks like a K11 and is in the 20,000 serial number range, it is in fact an 05/11. And yes, it was previously a model 1905 Cavalry Carbine. I mean, once they were converted, it didn't matter, and they were considered equally, whether it was an 00/11, an 05/11, or a K11. And a K11 built as a K11 has a serial number in the range starting from 30,000 and going up. And we'll get onto that in another time. And yeah, all of them have the pistol grip on them that originated in the 05. They liked it. It does improve the handling compared to a straight hand stock. It does give you a bit more purchase, and particularly for cavalry sitting on top of a horse, it's certainly avoiding your hand slipping back and being reliant on your thumb on that little knobble on the stock there is it's definitely an improvement. Now, I don't know how many went unconverted, and certainly the 39 private rifles probably went unconverted because there isn't a lot of point in converting them for target shooting. Well, you wouldn't have owned it for target shooting in the first place because it's a cavalry carbine. And yeah, once you factor in losses and so on, there's probably only a couple of hundred that escaped, if that. I mean, any rifles that went completely lost or were destroyed or whatever, it wouldn't have been converted. So we're talking a slack handful. So when they turn up on the collector's market, they are extremely rare and they command good prices. So there you go, a short video on the shortest serving of the Swiss straight pulls, if you don't count them converted. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please consider supporting us on Patreon if you haven't already done so, and see you again sometime. Bye.